Hello. Today I'll be going over how Nature's Prophet's ultimate, Wrath of Nature, actually works. Some things I'll go over include how it determines who it hits, how the damage works, and some things about the Aghanim Scepter upgrade. Thanks to everyone who's suggesting things for me to go over. I've gotten some really great ideas from the comments. If you have a suggestion for something I can go over, let me know. As always, I hope you learned something new with me. Wrath of Nature jumps around the map, dealing magic damage to enemy units in vision. It can be used globally, and wherever you click is where the jumps start. It can be cast on the ground or targeted on a unit. Before every Wrath of Nature jump, the spell looks to see which visible enemy unit is the closest from the last target hit, or the place it's cast if ground targeted. It'll then jump to that unit, damage them, and repeat this until the maximum amount of targets is hit, 18, or until there are no more targets to hit. Each enemy hit beyond the first one adds 10% damage. All jumps together can deal this much total magic damage, and with the level 10 talent, which increases the base damage by 30, the damage is this much. The jumps do not hit couriers, units in Fog of War, or invisible units, unless of course you have detection of them. It does hit neutral creeps and Roshan. The jumps happen in 0.25 second intervals. If the spell can't find a new unit to hit after this interval, the jumps stop and the spell ends, even if a new enemy unit becomes visible after the last 0.25 second interval. The time it takes to hit all 18 targets is 4.25 seconds. Now let's look at a more realistic example and see how Wrath of Nature travels around the map. If Nature's Prophet casts Wrath of Nature on the ground here, the spell will search for the closest visible enemy unit from this point, which is the closest creep. It'll bounce through the whole creep wave since they're the closest units to each other. Then once it hits the last creep in the creep wave, it searches for the next closest enemy unit in vision from anywhere on the map. If we look at the minimap, we can see that the next closest units will be the neutral camps. Then, from there it goes to mid lane, and finally ends in the dire jungle. And it stops on the ogre camp because it hit its limit of 18 units. So determining who Wrath of Nature hits and when it hits them is kind of determined by you, but also not fully, since enemies can move in and out of vision. But what about if you want to hit a specific target? If you want to hit a unit as fast as possible, you can cast Wrath of Nature directly on them. This will deal the least amount of damage since it's the first hit, but it will ensure that they get hit the fastest. If you want to try to build up some Wrath of Nature damage before hitting your target, that can be a little trickier. Here's an example where the enemy Phantom Assassin is next to her large creep wave. If you wanted to hit her relatively quickly, but still build up some Wrath of Nature damage, you could confidently do this by targeting Wrath of Nature on the ground here. We know that Wrath of Nature is going to jump to the closest unit, so here it'll jump to the closest creep in the creep wave, then move through each creep in the wave, eventually hitting Phantom Assassin on the other side. If you want to do a large amount of damage to a specific unit, you'll usually want to cast Wrath of Nature's start point somewhere farther away, maybe even across the map. This will be the riskiest since the time it takes to hit the last unit is 4.25 seconds, and by that time the unit you want to hit could leave vision. Also, the max number of units that Wrath of Nature can hit could be reached before it reaches your target. If you can pull it off, however, you'll be dealing a large amount of damage. Some things to keep in mind are that each creep wave has about an average of 6 creeps before 45 minutes. There's more to that, like siege creep spawns changing to 2, but let's keep it simple for now and say it's 6. And also what kind of vision your team has around the map, specifically on neutral camps. If we assume that Wrath of Nature hits even 4 creeps in a creep wave in each lane, that's already 12 units hit. If your team has vision of a couple of neutral camps, that's likely to bring the total units hit close or up to 18. So be careful if you choose to cast Wrath of Nature's starting point far away from a unit you want to hit. It might end up not making it to them. Having the highest impact with Wrath of Nature really comes down to knowing how the jumps are going to work and having a good read of the map. By that I mean knowing how many enemy units are in vision and where they're located, so you can more or less safely assume the jump path that Wrath of Nature will take, leading to high damage on the targets you want. Wrath of Nature also grants Nature's Prophet 6 bonus damage for every unit that's killed by the Wrath of Nature damage. That can be a total of 108 bonus damage. Aghanim Scepter lowers the cooldown of Wrath of Nature from 85 to 60 seconds. It also roots and disarms all hit enemies and provides True Sight over them. The duration of the root starts at 2 seconds on the first unit hit, and is increased by 0.106 seconds per jump, resulting in the last 18th jump rooting for 3.8 seconds. This can be great against high mobility heroes like Storm Spirit or Ember Spirit, especially since Wrath of Nature can be cast globally. A small tip when playing against a Nature's Prophet is that if you find your neutral camps are missing health when no one's around, it's pretty likely that the enemy team has vision of that camp and Wrath of Nature is the reason it's been hit, so you might want to check around for a ward. I just wanted to quickly say thank you so much for all of the support on these videos. I've really been enjoying doing this, and seeing the support from you has been very motivating. I'm trying very hard to make these videos better for you all. If you like these videos, consider giving this video a thumbs up, as I hear it pleases the YouTube algorithm gods quite a bit. I plan on making lots more videos like this, so if you enjoyed this, maybe consider subscribing. I made some other videos similar to this. You can find a playlist of them in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something new with me.